my baby.
Hello, I am Melissa Bondi.
And Dana Denha, and this is Adventures in Parenthood. Throughout this series, we'll explore the world of raising kids from newborn through adulthood.
And today we are heading back to school season and transitioning from the dog days of summer to the strict schedule of the classroom, which can be difficult. But Dana, so tell me, end of summer, what are your plans? Anything before?
Well, technically, I don't have anyone going back to school yet. I don't even actually know when that happens. We'll have to ask our guest what age you actually tend to go back to school. But I don't think we're going to go on a trip or anything. I'm a little weird about going on long car rides with a baby right now.
Sure.
I just don't think she can handle it.
Same.
Or an airplane. I'm just like, I just have anxiety about both of those things.
Right.
But I would like to get to the pool more. And I actually, we've gone to my parents have a pool and we've gone swimming there, but I would like to take her to one of the public pools because they have those little splash pads and I think she would enjoy that.
Yes, she is at an age, as soon as, she's standing.
Yeah.
And she's definitely, I think the water is, I have a water baby for sure.
Yeah.
So, and there's no doubt that most children are water babies.
Oh, she likes, I'll fill up a little pool in the backyard, like one of those hard plastic pools, and I put a bunch of rubber duckies in it, and she just splashes around. And I am amazed by how kids don't mind cold water because I can't handle it.
No, ours is iceberg cold. We're in a well. So ours is the coldest that you could possibly think, and she's okay with it.
So do you have any end of summer plans that you'd like to do with Bryn or even just Brian?
No, pool time makes sense, but I think I'm more anxious for Halloween, actually.
Yeah.
I'm already anxious for the Halloween season, but I know this is back to school. So I would skip that. I'm just anxious for Halloween.
So Bryn's in daycare, which is kind of school. It's more of like a school than if she were just being babysat.
For sure.
By just like a person at your house.
Yeah.
So are there any sort of preparations that you feel you had to do when she started daycare? Like, did she get new outfits or?
No, well, every week we have to bring sheets and blankets. So, I mean, and wash those, weekly in her water bottle. So, yeah, no, nothing too crazy yet.
Yeah.
And they have mismatch day. They had it it's coming up or it just passed. And I thought to myself, isn't that every day for this age? I think she's mismatch day every day. But
I'm pretty amazed by some of the clothes I put the baby in that I think are going to be cute. And then I'm like, what was I thinking putting these two things together?
Totally. It's actually super comical, like you said.
Yeah.
What are you thinking? But it's so cute because of their age, so it doesn't matter.
And you don't really have to worry about packing lunches or any of that?
No, they're fed there, so that's a benefit of that daycare.
Okay.
Yes.
But you could pack her lunch if you wanted to?
No, they prefer we not bring in food.
Really?
Yeah. They have their own menu, their own dietitian and everything. So yeah, they take care of all that. But it is, so back to school, unfortunately fortunately for us we have that, but when the kids going back to school now, they are going to have to pack their lunches. So we have a guest here who's going to tell us all about that and packing lunches and school supplies.
I'd like to welcome Anna Mae Trievel to the show. Anna Mae is a mom and owner and founder of Ann Arbor with Kids. She's going to give us the hottest tips on heading back to school. But before we do that, I would like you to tell us what Ann Arbor with Kids is.
So Ann Arbor with Kids is a website, and it's a resource, what's going on around town. There's so much cool stuff going on, and if you don't know where to look, you're not going to find it. So I've been running the site in various forms for about 7 or 8 years now. So I kind of know where to look, and so I compile everything. So you definitely want to check out our events calendar. The website is very simple. It's AnnArborWithKids.com. If you're looking for events, just add a /events, or you can find it from the homepage. So it's kind of going to tell you what's going on. We also talk about other activities because not everything is a calendar event.
Yeah.
You guys talked about the splash pads. Burr Park, Vets, they have some great splash parks in the pool.
Yeah. Burr Park's actually the one that's like right around the corner from me too. So
yeah, they have a great one. If your kids are a little older, Rolling Hills Water Park, that's what my daughter loves. It's water slides and a wave pool and a lazy river. Yours probably can wait a few years.
Yeah, I think so.
But we've been taking my daughter since she was 4. She's 11 now, so that's like totally up her alley.
Yeah.
The bigger the slides, the happier she is. So.
Let's kind of rewind for a second.
Yep.
I want to ask just a little bit about the website, because that's how I found you.
Yes.
Super, I loved it. It was so thorough and so detailed, very reader friendly.
Good.
Tell me, a little bit more about the website and the connections that you have, and your partners that you meet up with.
So basically I am totally independent, and one of my features that I really want is I want it to be free for my readers. Mm-hmm. So there's never going to be a subscription, there's no paywall, there's no you have to subscribe to the email, it's all just out there for you. To go along with that, I also do free listings for businesses. If you have an event and it fits on our calendar, you can get that listed for free, because if I'm going to charge for those, then my calendar's not going to be full, and then it's not going to be of use. Mm-hmm. So, but we do have partners and advertisers. I would say right now our biggest advertiser is Kidopolis. They are a local play place. They're located south of 94 on State Street, just south of Briarwood Mall. And they offer open, imaginative play. So they're one of our big advertisers. We also are working with the Symphony. We do some work with them every year promoting their family concerts. Those are definitely a great deal. This year they're going to have Harry Potter and Star Wars as their 2 concerts, plus a holiday concert. So if you have kids like mine who are into that's totally both up her wheelhouse. Yeah. You're definitely going to want to check those 2 things out.
Now, do you find you're a one-man band? Is that correct, kind of? So do you find
I am mostly a one-woman band.
Okay.
I have actually just hired my first freelance writer.
Oh.
She's had about 3 posts on the website, and I am talking to somebody else, just in part because my daughter is now 11, so now both these writers have younger children, so they can help visit places that I can't really go with an 11-year-old.
Yeah,
she's gonna look at me and be like, "Really,
Why
Mom?"
are we here? Well, even Kidopolis is probably a little
That's
old for her at this point.
Yes. Yeah, their prime would be up to early elementary.
Yeah,
would be their target.
How did you become such an expert on all things Ann Arbor kids?
I was running the playgroup at our church when my daughter was a toddler, and it was Christmas time, and one family had gone. And at the time, Ann Arbor, they turned all the lights on downtown that are on the trees, and they had a night to do that, and one family knew about it. Another family had done something else fun, and nobody else had known about these things. So they all started sending me, as the leader of the group, what cool things they found around town. And I was also planning summer dates where we didn't meet at our church nursery. We would meet at playgrounds and parks or an event. So I started finding out what was going on. Then when my daughter started preschool, the preschool moms were all like, "You keep a list, can you send it to me?" So I have a background in computers. I said, well, if playgroup likes it and preschool likes it, there's probably a lot more people who would like it. So that was back in 2009, started very simple, very non-professional looking, with a name, Ann Arbor Events and Activities for Preschoolers. And talk about a mouthful. Then when my daughter started kindergarten, that's when it became Ann Arbor with Kids.
Okay. So do you find that the readers are flocking to you, advertisers are flocking to you now over the years? I mean, it's grown. So.
It has definitely grown. June and July were my 2 best months ever, which is a record. Usually it's October, Halloween, as you mentioned. Ann Arbor loves Halloween. There's tons of great events. And I've already started putting a few of those on our calendar.
You just can't wait, you know?
Well, I don't want to miss them, and they're very easy because they're the annual events. So basically I just copy the previous year's event and change the date and adjust the time and cost sometimes. But yeah, it makes it easy year after year, and now I know where to look. But usually Halloween's my biggest month.
Your biggest, for traffic.
For traffic,
And you said that the calendar is probably your most hit page, or
the calendar
on your website. Yes,
always the home page and then the calendar.
Sure.
Well, it's such a great resource because there's always so many events going on in Ann Arbor, and it's for people of all ages, but you have to kind of cycle through. I mean, if you're not going to your website and you want to take your kids specifically to something, you have to cycle through a lot of stuff to get to what you want to find.
Right, and on our website, we do have all of the events for kids from babies through tweens, even into teens. But once you get into an event, it will tell you what age group it's for. If you're in an event and you see it says toddlers or preschoolers, you can click on that and it'll show you all of the events just for toddlers or just for preschoolers. So you can even narrow it down just by what's appropriate for your child's age.
Okay. How do you think people find your website?
Social media and Google search.
Do you also run social media sites in conjunction with this?
I have Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. A2 with Kids is the tag for all of them. So facebook.com/A2 with Kids, twitter.com/A2 with Kids.
Okay, I have to know. How do you keep up with all of those? Because
Even
personally, I want to pull my hair out sometimes.
Facebook is the one that I am the most active on. Instagram, really more active in the summer when we're doing more things.
Sure.
When my daughter's in school all day and after school activities, we don't get to do very much during the week. But so in the summer, there's more content on our Instagram. Twitter, I personally, 7 years ago, I loved Twitter. It was my favorite. Yeah. But I don't put a lot of effort into Twitter. Sure. It's a lot more of just a feed just because my experience has been that's not where I'm reaching Ann Arbor parents. Okay. So I wasn't getting any traffic from it, so I scaled it back.
Sure, I feel like you have to.
Right.
One of them has to be bottom of the barrel.
Yes. Facebook is really where I find the Ann Arbor parents, so that's where I focus.
As your daughter grows older and she's not going to be a tween anymore, she's going to be an actual teen, do you see Ann Arbor with Kids kind of reaching a bigger spectrum at that point? Yes,
definitely. As I mentioned, it started as events for preschoolers, and as she's grown, I've kind of expanded the upper age. So now she's actually going into 6th grade. She's middle school, so now we've been adding more tween content on the website, especially any activity reviews. They're really coming from a real tween.
Yeah.
And as she keeps growing, I've always like pushed my upper age up and tried to keep it a few years ahead of her, but still keeping the content for the babies and the toddlers because especially during the school year, that's who's weekdays, that's who's looking for events. Parents of babies and toddlers or caregivers or whoever.
Do you find now that maybe sometimes you might know of something happening, but she doesn't want you to go with her?
We have not yet gotten to the point of her wanting to do things on her own yet. I'm sure it's coming. It's already, we go shopping and it's like, can I go look at the toys by myself? Can I go off by myself? So we're getting there, but not to an event so much yet, but I do drop her off more and more at her activities. I don't stay.
One of the really cool things I think that you post on your website is when there's like free movies available.
Oh, absolutely. That's very popular.
Yeah, I think that's a fantastic thing
and
to
Quality 16 just wrapped up their summer, but they should be back with the fall. Actually, it says on their website they'll be back. They haven't announced it yet, but we'll have that details as soon as it's available.
Yeah, awesome.
Super fun. So would you say, so this has been your busy, you said June, July have been your busiest?
June and July, yes.
In comparison to years past, or just
in
the year?
In comparison to years past and overall.
Okay.
So I pretty much, my site has grown year over year.
I was gonna say.
But usually I consider it good in June, July if I approach the previous October, and I actually surpassed the previous October. So I was very happy in July.
Awesome. Yeah. Do you have anything on your website that you, or is there anything that's not that you wish was, or something you want to add in the future or looking to?
I would like to add some information about moving to Ann Arbor. I have a couple ideas. Moving to Ann Arbor, a kind of a moving to Ann Arbor guide. I'd like to add some information on if you are visiting Ann Arbor, what, like a 1 or 2 day trip, here's the highlights of what you should hit. Those are kind of my, and the other thing I want to do is like a bucket list. These are the experiences your child should have before.
Super fun.
I would love to look at that.
That's a great idea.
And I have it, they're all sketched out in my,
on
a piece of paper, but the idea of how we're actually going to implement it on the site.
Do you ever put polls? Like polls for parents?
I don't.
Like a monthly poll, weekly poll?
Maybe we should look into doing some of that.
Random questions for different ages, different parents. I mean, I love taking polls. That's why I ask.
I do sometimes ask questions on the Facebook page.
Okay.
Sometimes I'll do recommendations, and then I'll write a post.
Yeah.
Or if I have somebody who's asking me for something and I don't have recommendations, like somebody asked me for karate studios, and
there you go.
My daughter doesn't do karate, so I've asked, and then I'll turn that into a post.
Okay. Okay. Well, great. Well, we are going to take a short break.
Yep.
So when we come back, we are going to talk more with local kid expert Anna Mae Trievel.
We're back with Anna Mae Trievel, owner and editor of Arbor with Kids, and she's going to tell us some back-to-school tips now. So we were talking a little bit before the show, and the one big question that it's on everyone's mind going back to school is the school supply list.
Yes. I will say when I was a new coming kindergarten parent, all I kept thinking was, it's July, and I'd start to see all the back-to-school sales for paper and crayons, and I didn't have a list. And I sit here saying, I don't want to have to pay full price to try and fill this list in 2 days. When I finally get it, I want it now. And the magic answer is that Ann Arbor Public Schools does not have a list. They are not required, they are not allowed to require school supplies. Some schools will ask for donations, some schools may make recommendations, but like when my daughter was in kindergarten, there was nothing. First grade, we started noticing that the pencils the school supplied, there was one boy who was actually in her class for 4 out of her 5 years who liked to pop the tops off the pencils, the erasers. So we would always make sure to donate the eraser caps to the classroom. So Hundreds Day, if you don't have a child in school yet, those early elementary schools, they count the days of school. It's one of the ways that they learn their number. And the 100th day of school usually occurs about February, is a big day. And at the lower elementary school, they usually do a collection of 100 things. So my daughter wanted to do 100 pencil cap erasers for the classroom when she was in first grade. So that was what we did, just so that the school would have that. But so I actually brought a little prop with me. This is what they do ask that you bring, is a backpack. This is my 5th grader's alternate backpack. It's not her regular one because that one has her name, and I, as the owner of a website who uses her picture, I don't like to have it on the announced. So this is her alternate backpack. This one's from LL Bean. I'm a big fan of the Land's End bags. You can get them monogrammed. They're about $6. Make sure, that's a key point, everything you send to school with your child is labeled. The lost and found at my daughter's school is embarrassing.
Really?
The quantity of stuff that is in there, and quality stuff, mostly jackets, things like that. But what you're going to want to keep in your backpack, now keep in mind this is a 5th grader's backpack. A kindergartner's backpack can be smaller.
Yeah, sure.
But one thing to point out is we do live in Michigan. The number one thing you need to be able to fit in your child's backpack is their snow pants. Because pretty much they're going to want these for warmth, for playing in the snow, and even worse, when the snow melts, the playgrounds become mud pits.
Well, and they're going on recess regardless if it's like snowy or
they
cold.
Go
I mean, unless it's super cold. Is that like the...
Yes.
That's a cutoff for recess.
There is a cutoff.
Recess.
Yeah,
I want to say it's 20 degrees, something like that. Maybe, I think it's 20, and then minus 20 is when they cancel school because it's too cold to even wait at the bus stops. That's what I remember from years past.
What age are the kids starting to pack those?
Kindergarten. Well,
so it is kindergarten. You think kindergarten? Okay.
Well, these are 5th graders' snow pants. But yes.
So starting in kindergarten,
starting in kindergarten,
get some snow pants ready.
You're gonna have. You're gonna need them before kindergarten. Preschool, you're going to need them.
Preschool.
And I will tell you, my daughter went to a co-op preschool, and that was where I learned that the number one thing for boots, usually they'll wear the boots to school, so they don't need to fit in here. Make sure your child can put them on and off easily by themselves.
Good point.
Velcro.
Okay.
But we're not here to talk about snow gear.
Yeah.
But
So that's one of the main items that you need to be able to fit into the backpack.
this needs to be able to fit
So
into the backpack.
you're saying the backpack needs to be big enough.
So
to
it
put
needs
that
to be
sort of
big
stuff.
enough for that. A pair of shoes. Because they're going to wear their boots to school.
Backup, yeah. Okay.
And they want the kids to pretty much change out of their shoes.
They don't want wet, snowy
Because
boots
then there's
everywhere.
wet, snowy boots all over the classroom. So, and this bag, I will say, was packed by my daughter. Sneakers. Back here, she has her hat and her gloves.
Okay.
Again, a nice, warm, heavy hat. I'm sure there's 2 gloves in here. Waterproof gloves. These are from Land's End. I love the Land's End coats for winter as well. Snow pants, I'm cheap. I get those at Target.
Well, you probably have to buy a new pair every year for the size.
Actually, no.
No.
The snow pants, when you get the bib overalls, she actually can use them 2 or 3 years because you can adjust the height on the bibs.
Yeah, yeah.
And I have a very skinny child, so she doesn't outgrow them width-wise. It's just the height.
Yeah, yeah.
So, and the same thing with the hat. These are all in their 2nd year, so I'm probably going to be buying a new one this year.
Yeah.
And also with the Land's End coats, they have extendable sleeves. So they have like a little thumb hole and then it extends. So we've gotten 2 years out of every one of our Land's End coats. So hopefully you can not have to get them every year. But talking about real school supplies, this was recommended last year by my daughter's teachers. And it's called the Deskmate. It's a storage clipboard. This is a boring, plain one that I ordered on Amazon because I got the suggestion for it the week before school started. I checked 1 or 2 office supply stores locally, couldn't find it. Wanted to make sure she had it for the first day, and I was on my last day to order from Amazon Prime without paying extra to have it. So we bought it. But if you do want one of these, Learning Express carries them. And they customize them. They have designs on them. They can put your child's name on them. So she actually got an upgrade for her birthday that has her name on it and a design of her choice.
So is this what the kids are bringing?
This is what her 5th grade class.
So this is like the thing to have, the item.
This was what they were using in her particular class, and I just love it. I think it's a great idea.
Okay.
This is the trapper keeper of
it
our
is.
day.
Okay.
So we emptied this out, but you know, she can keep a pencil. She usually keeps colored pencils. As an older child, some of the kids prefer switching to mechanical pencils, and school doesn't supply those, so you may want to buy those. As your kid starts to get to 3rd, 4th grade, kindergartners, they're better with the number 2 pencils that you sharpen. But she can keep her calculator and colored pencils and stuff. And her homework in here. Papers fit in here. And then after school, when we're stopping and we have some time and we're at the library, she loves to take this and put her homework on it. And if you've been to the Westgate Library, she'll curl up in one of those cubby holes and she can work on her homework. She doesn't have to be at a desk or a table. So this is great for if you're on the go.
And there's really no excuse to not know where your homework is.
Exactly. Because before this, she would have the paper folders.
Yeah.
And if you get the paper folder and you've got all this stuff jammed in your bag, they were always wrinkled.
Crinkled and ripped.
So I am a huge fan of this. I wish we had had a teacher recommend it to us before 5th grade. But
I got to ask, now tell me, where do you, iPads and phones and tablets, but where does electronic, that smart stuff come into play as far as kids her age and school? Like, I do not know.
You know, that's a very good question. It's one that actually I have to research this year.
Okay.
In the past, she has had an iPod Touch. She has an iPad. They stay at home.
Okay.
At school, they have iPads. They have Chromebooks. A lot of that's the technology bond that Ann Arbor passed a few years ago.
Okay.
So they've really upgraded what technology is available, school-owned, to the kids. This year, my daughter got a phone this summer.
Okay.
So I do have to now investigate what the school's policy is on bringing that to school. I know they're allowed to have it. I've seen some of the older kids with them at school, but I need to investigate the rules.
Are there any...
Which I'm sure vary by individual school and not just the district.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Sure.
Are there any back-to-school first day obstacles that people might have to deal with?
I would say first day obstacles, getting out of the house in the morning.
Oh my gosh.
Make a plan. So I talked to one of my friends on my way here. I said, I'm going on the show. What advice do you have? She has a 6th grader and a 7th grader. And her number one thing is they pack their backpacks the night before, every night. So when they have band the next day, their instrument is there with their backpack.
Yeah.
Or if they have, the day they have library, that their library books are back in there. They always do that the night before. Also, if your kids are picky about what they wear, or you're picky about what your kids wear, lay the clothes out the night before.
Okay.
Especially, you know, mine, 5th grade, she's going into 6th. She's pretty independent. But if you have that 2nd grader, even if they want to pick out what they want to wear, you still want to make sure as a parent that it's weather appropriate and they don't want to wear shorts and a tank top in December. So have that argument the night before.
Do you end up going back to school clothes shopping with your daughter, and do you have tips on that?
We do. We always try to find one special back to school outfit. It's changed over the years. You know, when she was kindergarten, 1st grade, it was always the cute little dress and skirt. Last year it was shorts and a shirt, but with a back to school type saying. She hasn't mentioned anything this year about wanting something for the first day of school, but we have a couple weeks.
Yeah, well, because that was always my favorite part about like the end of summer going back to school was going shopping for back to school clothes and getting like a new pair of shoes or something, you know?
Oh my, I remember talking about this. I could think back every day. The first day of school, I knew I had to look. I had to
dress to the nines.
Awesome, the best outfit going back to school on that first day. That totally brings up so many memories.
Yeah, she's not. I don't have a clothes horse. She was more as she was younger. As she's gotten older, she is not into her clothes as much. She's from the child who never wore jeans to the child who only wears jeans.
Yeah.
So funny.
We're just about out of time, but if you could give maybe just like your number one back to school tip that maybe we haven't discussed.
I would say start getting that morning routine down, especially if your child's not a morning child. Start getting into bed earlier if they've been sleeping in all summer. Also plan a first day tradition. I have a friend, they stop and they get breakfast and they eat breakfast in the school parking lot on the first day of school. I have another friend who the last day of summer they do ice cream for lunch.
Yeah.
So create a fun family tradition around the last day of summer or the first day of school.
I also love on social media when people post the first day of school pics. Those are so adorable.
Oh, we always do that. I don't do anything. I guess my daughter started school in the pre-Pinterest era.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So, but the little boards where they hold up with their grade or something. That's very. We haven't done it just because, like I said, it wasn't a thing when she started. But you know, now I would love to like go back and start.
Yeah. No, you could keep going. You could start it in 6th grade.
A 6th grader is not. A 6th grader might continue a tradition. She's not going to go for starting the tradition.
Well, thank you so much for coming on the show, Anna Mae.
Thank you.
If you have an idea for a parenting show topic or guest, contact us at ctn@a2gov.org or talk to us on Facebook and Twitter at #CTN Ann Arbor.
Or for more programming and services available at CTN, you can visit us on the web at a2gov.org/CTN. And again, thanks for joining us on this adventure in parenthood. Until next time.